Y'all big fat asses really be getting into it about these tea ads, huh? I ain't gonna say nothing offensive this time, but y'all should check out this sea moss. If you full of shit and if you full of mad, you drink some of this sea moss, baby, it'll regulate all of that. Sea moss is just good for your overall health. I started taking it about 6 months ago, and I must say I recognize a total difference in the way my body operates, moves, and grooves through this thing called life. Drop down in the description box and click the link to purchase this and other fine products. That's a girl. Wendy Osefo don't use all the degrees to become a whole ass thought in these DC streets. And Karen knows she need to sit her damn ass down. So we're talking about Gizelle wished death on Ray. No, she did not. Want to talk about it? Here you go. Nessa girl, I was gonna call y'all when I got to the DR and catch y'all up on them 4 episodes of Housewives of Potomac that I watched while I was packing my bags. But the Wi-Fi was so bad, and at this point, it don't even make no sense to talk about it. So we just gonna talk about last Sunday's episode, okay? Okay. So the episode opens up, and the ladies are sitting at the dinner table down to the Williamsburg. And Gizelle and Karen get into it once again, or it's a continuation of it. And they're talking about, Karen wants an apology from Gizelle about wishing death on Ray. Now listen, it goes without saying, I don't like Gizelle on this show. I don't like when her and Robyn team up, okay? But fair is fair and right is right. Karen, you are full of pretty shit, okay? Karen, straight up and down, and I like me some Karen. Karen, you full of shit, all right? Gizelle did not wish death on Ray in any way, shape, or form. Not to mention that was 4 seasons ago. You didn't mention it 3 seasons in between. All of a sudden, that scene is a big deal. Karen, you full of shit. It is beyond obvious. You are clinching on to reasons to be mad when you and Gizelle need to both just say, I don't like the bitch. And y'all, and you know what? We need to learn to say that. Sometimes you don't need a reason not to like somebody other than you just don't like their ass. All right, but making up shit, because Karen, real talk, and somebody got to call your ass to the mat. That is what you're doing at this point. You are making up shit to be mad at. She wished death on my husband. No, she did not. Then you want to say it's a game of semantics. It's not a game of semantics. It's very clear. She did not wish. Listen, Ray ass is a man of a certain age. And what Gizelle was implying is that his ass will be, Gizelle was implying that I got another 20 to 30 years on my face and Ray don't have another 20, 30 years on this planet. I mean, considering the science behind it all and the average lifespan of a human, she's absolutely correct. So the read was, if my face does crack, his ass will be dead before you see it. She didn't wish death on Ray. And then you want to flip it to my husband and death in the same sentence. So now we can't say people's name and the word death in the same sentence. We can't talk about kids. We can't talk about mamas. We can't say y'all doing way too much, Karen. You put way too much dip on your chip. It's not that real. And I side with Gizelle in this situation, in this particular instance. Is it me or Candace should have left a scholar with Robyn? It should have been Robyn, a scholar, Karen, and Candace in the house, and left Mia over there with Karen because she was her guest. Now, the beautiful thing is, I'm assuming at the direction, not the direction, but listening to Robyn and Gizelle, Candace figured, okay, this will give us an opportunity to get to know Mia by herself. And I do like the fact that Karen and a scholar are getting along. Quiet as it's kept, y'all. I'm here for Escala. I'm actually here for Escala more than I am Mia. I like the fact that Escala came in. She ain't scared to ask questions. She asking questions like she done been around for a long time. I am totally feeling Escala. Now, what I'm not understanding is they tried to sell us Escala as somebody who was working for Robyn, but the capacity in which she was working for Robyn for is not a capacity that will pay red bottom totals and Chanel prices. So I'm like, You know, was that just a bootleg way of working as Scholar in as a friend of the show? And she ain't bit more working for Robyn, nor do she bit more even half know Robyn. And that's what my spirit is telling me. The same way Cynthia ain't no Nene prior to the damn Housewives child. They called, I'm giving y'all all the behind the scenes tea. They called Nene and said, we want you to go to dinner with this girl. She went once or twice. The first time she came back and said Cynthia's ass was boring. And they told her to go again. The second time Cynthia did a little better, or whatever the case may be. And then, boom, I want to introduce y'all to my friend, Cynthia Bailey. Cynthia did not know no damn Nene prior to this damn show. Just a little background tea. And I get the impression that the same thing is going on with a Scholar and these ladies. Because a Scholar is not... Front desk people don't have red bottles, not the way in the factory like she was doing on that previous episode, stuffing boxes. Just my observation. So Ashley and Michael talk. And Ashley is telling Michael about going on a trip for one day. And Michael raises the question about, is Juan and Robyn going to get married? You know, I don't know why folks are so concerned with Robyn and Juan getting married. I mean, at this point, I really don't care. I care about the well-being of their children. And if the children are damn fine and their arrangement is fine, then hell, let them be fine. Marriage is not the end-all, be-all. And obviously, whatever relationship they got is working for them. Leave them alone. And I hate, too, how this show, they're beginning to formulate, because the narrative that they're trying to draft is that Juan don't want Robyn. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing, right? They may not be legally married. Juan and Robyn may not be legally married, but they are married, okay? They are married. Juan is not allowed to go out and have sex with other women. Neither is Robyn. Okay, they got divorced but was living in the same doggone house. The family unit is still intact. Things, listen, if Robyn walked down the aisle today or tomorrow with Juan on Monday, ain't shit about her life gonna change Tuesday or her relationship dynamic. Nothing is going to change. Quiet as it's kept, seeing as though they already had a wedding, I would just let that first one still be our wedding and just pretend like we never got divorced. I mean, because they're just divorced clerically. Literally, they should just get in the car right now and just go down to the courthouse and sign the damn paperwork and take their ass back home and watch Netflix. Because that's what their relationship is anyway. They just two brothers and sisters that had kids. I mean, that's the dynamic of their family, and it's a little incestuous to us, but it works for them. Let them people in their love and basketball relationship be. Now, Robyn and Gizelle sit down and start talking about Wendy's clothing choices and how she has changed. And Gizelle brings up Wendy and the cheating scandal surrounding Eddie and these fake blog articles or whatever the case may be. I want to say this. You know what? Gizelle has found her role on this show. Gizelle is Sheree. She's the bone carrier. Gizelle is the one who's going to bring up whatever is inappropriate going on about somebody or whatever is being said, and she's going to bring it to the table. I mean, it's a very smart move on Gizelle's behalf financially, just personally, because number one, it gives her purpose without having to have a very intricate storyline, and it's a tried and true play. We know, all right, she gonna stay on the show and the drama's gonna get started because Gizelle is going to bring people's most embarrassing up and ask and be nosy and so on and so forth. But let's dive into this for a little bit. To be honest, and what I don't like and what y'all not finna do is sit here and make Gizelle and Robyn out to be crazy for their observation. Wendy has changed. She has changed. And it speaks to a lot of the pressures that individuals can feel from pop culture in the larger world, right? Because the reality of the situation is Wendy came in and was giving us college professor realness. Like your whole identity was wrapped up into being a college professor. You sold us that. Mia, on the other hand, Mia has come into this bad boy selling us bad bitch businesswoman, but sexy ex-stripper. So if we were to see Mia dressed like that, nobody would say you were just a businesswoman last week. Now you're this sexy thing. She met us at the door sexy. Wendy, on the other hand, you was very much giving us political commentator tease, Professor tees, lawyer tees, dressed up tees, Clark Sisters reunion tees, revival tees, pastor appreciation tees, principal tees. Okay, that's what you was giving us, tees. And then you switched up on us midway through the game. So it's just people's brains are trying to get wrapped around what it is that you're giving. And yes, a woman can be professional and be sexy and not have to be in a box. But let's face it, that's not who you are. And to be honest with you, that's not who you are at your core. Wendy, you are not an Instagram thought. You are not. You are not. And yes, you can be sexy. But like Gizelle said, you were sexy last season. And like Robyn asked you, were you confident with your body? And you said any woman 2 months postpartum wouldn't be. And I totally understand all of that. But there is something about you that has changed. And I'm going to tell you what it is. It's called show business. It's called the TV. It's called all the Atlanta girls and all the basketball wives girls and everybody else got on and got their body done and got their titties and their booty done and they bad bitches and I want to be a bad bitch too. Let's just call a thing a thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. But what is wrong with it is when you try to mask it and paint it up as something that it wasn't. Let's face it, Wendy's body was bad. She was flat as fuck in the back and her titties sagged. That's true too. She got big, broad ass shoulders. All right. And you wanted to look more consistent with what the images are that we are seeing on Instagram right now. That's what it is. And that's okay. And you actually would neutralize everything they're saying if you was like, yes, bitch, my ass was flat and I wanted a booty. Because I want to twerk from time to time. But you have changed, Wendy. And listen, you know, we always talk about stereotypes and putting people in boxes. And I'm going to be honest with you. The word stereotype has a very negative connotation, but it does serve a real life purpose. All right. Stereotypes serve a real life purpose. As human beings, we do not have the individual capacity to judge every single individual person that we meet or come across on their individual merit. We don't have enough bandwidth in our brains to do so. So what do? We put people in boxes so we can process them. So we know if they're friend or foe, safe or enemy, whore or holy. You know what I'm saying? RuPaul has a very famous saying that says, if you want to make more money, wear a suit. If you want to make more money, wear a suit. Because you have to work with what people already know. And here is what we know. People in suits, more likely than not, are successful. People in bustiers, high heels, and pleather leggings are more than likely a stripper. You see what I'm saying? You see how that works? And yes, there's nuance in it. Yes, you can wear leather pants and not be a stripper, but bitch, majority of them is. Majority of them with leather peggings on in a bustier is a stripper or a sex worker. And the likelihood of your ass being the likelihood of you being a damn, you know, I don't know. If you have on a suit, bitch, people are more likely to take you serious, okay? So let's just play with that for a second. So, you know, Wendy, yeah, what you're giving is inconsistent with who it is you are, who it is you say you are. And these people are not far-fetched or crazy for questioning it. The table talk about Chris managing Candace. You know, the advice that once again, I was on board with what Gizelle was saying. I don't think that there was anything wrong, and I think that the concerns that Gizelle and the other ladies were expressing were legitimate. Okay? Now, I think they were legitimate not because of Chris, but because what other men have done to other women. I like Candace's response, that if I felt like Chris was that way, that I would not have married him. But Dorothy's concern, Gizelle's concern, and anybody else's concern as it relates to Chris, you know, essentially managing Candace and Candace being the sole income of the entire family while he be the manager, that is a very valid concern because across history, that configuration has not worked for a lot of women. It has worked for some. So it actually has nothing to do with Chris and everything to do with the history of people in that position. Quite frankly, too, if I was Chris, I just wouldn't even be interested, to be honest. I really wouldn't even be interested in the role. For reasons like this, simply to combat all of this type of stuff. You know, the other thing, too, that I tell people all the time, it's very easy when you're in a situation, a domestic situation for a friend or a family member. You know, they start off assisting you. They start out going out with you. And then, boom, we give them this manager title. But what has always baffled me when it comes to people's business is you don't know what you don't know. So, yeah, you say you're my manager, but do you know the ins and outs of contracts? Do you know what to ask for when I get called by this network and called for this movie? Do you know what perks, what payment structures, how many points I should be getting on the front end, on the back end? Are you plugged in enough as my manager? Are you plugged in enough in the industry to help me get other gigs and expand my portfolio? Are you plugged in enough that you know who to call when we've got an issue with XYZ? Like, these are just all things a novice off the street does not know. And that would concern me when it comes to somebody running my business and managing my affairs. It's just like black people who go and open up soul food restaurants just because they could cook. Like, bitch, do you know anything about the damn restaurant business? Absolutely not. And that's why the shit be having horrible service and fails. It's the same principle. So I hope Chris, go back to cooking. Build an empire like Captain Planet. When our powers combine, you do your thing, leverage Candace on the show to build up what it is you got going on, how Peter and Cynthia did with Bar 1, and now everybody knows Peter and Bar 1 because of the show. You go do that and let Candace do what she do over here and pay somebody 10% to do all that, because it's going to become too much. I don't think personality-wise that you and Candace's relationship will be able to withstand the extra complications that are going to come along with y'all being lovers and business working together or whatever. That's just a lot to put on a marriage. And then once you begin to factor in, you know, children and all this other stuff, that's just too many moving pieces that, quite frankly, I don't think Candace in particular has the temperament to handle. Just my 2 cents. Robyn then begins to talk about her marriage, and Gizelle goes in. But she was asking all the right questions. You know, again, like I said, I think the reason why Karen and them are taken aback is because Gizelle does it so publicly, she does it so intrusively, and she does it so brash. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, shit, even Robyn is exempt. But Gizelle was asking the damn questions that we all wanted to know. And she told Robyn right. I mean, ain't nobody attracted to no woman or no man that's laying around in the bed all damn day. But I'm going to tell you one thing about Robyn's conversation. I completely agreed. I completely relate to Robyn. Like, I suffer with not only depression, I also suffer with seasonal depression. I hate fall. Fall through winter, I absolutely hate. I become a bag of worthlessness fall through winter, especially when I'm in places where the seasons change. Now, luckily, I'm back in Miami now, and we really don't have a big change in the weather like that. And it's so funny because I've sometimes questioned if me being born and raised in Miami lend itself to seasonal depression, because I'm not used to having 4 seasons. We got 2 seasons here, hot and hurricane. Those are the only 2 seasons that we have in Miami. So anyway, that's a whole other video for a whole other day. But I relate to that. I relate to Robyn saying, you know I got things to do, but I just cannot get out of bed. That is me. I relate to that. I just can't get out of bed. I know shit is falling by the wayside. I can't get out of bed. I am feeling overwhelmed, which makes me just want to stay in the bed even more. I relate to all of those sentiments, and it is hard. And then, you know, at one point, I was like, well, I don't need therapy. I need a life coach. I went through that battle. And then eventually I had to get on medication. You know what I'm saying? In conjunction with therapy. But I had to get on medication. I'm currently on medication. And Robyn may need some medication. And ain't nothing wrong with needing the medication, because medication keep you from kicking people's ass. Medication keep you from fucking other people's husband. Medication keep you from cussing at people in Walgreens. I am all for the medication. I ain't with them opioids, honey, but you know, medication is a good thing. Excuse me, y'all. I need some medication. I also related to Robyn when she said her personality doesn't like structure. That is me all the way. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny because sometimes you need structure in order to keep your stuff going and in order for you to rise to the next level. I know for me, I was just doing things all willy-nilly and my business didn't go to the next level until I, implemented a bit of structure. And I'm willing to say right now that I'm actually out of alignment and things are all kind of all over the place with my business, and I've realized that, and I am working to kind of put things back in line, so y'all just work with me. They confront Wendy about being thottish. We talked about that already, yada, yada, yada. And then a scholar gets in there and asks Gizelle a question about her relationship. I love that a scholar asked Gizelle that. I'm surprised Gizelle didn't get upset with her because, ordinarily, most people would have been like, well, girl, it's too soon for you to be asking me something like that. I don't even know you. And I thought that was the route that she was going to take. But she decided to say she didn't want to discuss Jamal in front of Karen. Yeah, that's because Jamal is her kryptonite. And she didn't want to give Karen any more ammunition. But you don't need to discuss anything because we already know, we already could see it. Karen and Wendy end up talking at the end, and Wendy ends up crying. Wendy says she cried because Gizelle said she was more substantive last year and she isn't this year, and it hurt. So going back to my earlier analogy from RuPaul, if you want to make more money, wear a suit. We associate certain things with appearance, with suits and professional attire. We attribute other things to other ways of dress. Coupled with the current social media culture that we live in, Wendy, it looks like you've gotten a bit vain, and it looks like you've gotten a bit. It looks like you're leaning towards the Instagram thought side. Is it me, or am I the only one that just did not find anything wrong with Gizelle's observation? This bitch has changed. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it ain't nothing wrong with changing, but just own what it is. And the reality of the situation is everybody wants to be sexy. Okay? Everybody wants to be sexy. Bitch, I want to look like Fabio. If you find a man on this planet that say he don't want a body like Shamar Moore and a face like Morris Chestnut, he is lying. He's lying. If you find a woman on this earth that says she don't want a body like Naomi Campbell and a face like Cindy Crawford, she is fucking lying. Everybody wants to be as close to the center of what they call the beauty standard, and wherever they live, everybody wants to be as close as they can to the beauty standard. And it's nothing wrong with that. It ain't nothing wrong with it, Wendy. Just don't run from it. You know what I'm saying? No, bitch, I wanted to be fine. My booty was flat and my titties sagged and I wanted to be fine. And now that I am fine, I want to show it. Because everybody wants to be sexy. That just is what it's human nature. But I think that the reason why Wendy is crying about the substance comment is I think Wendy is a little lost right now. Because Wendy, that's not you. That's not you. That ain't what professors give. That ain't what CNN commentators give. And it's never been you. It would be totally different if that was how you dressed with your old body. New body, same old mind. Okay, that shit is not you. And that's why it made you so uncomfortable and brought you to tears, because you are discombobulated right now, standing on no foundation of who you are. Be sexy. Be sexy. But don't be no damn thought, Wendy. Like that just, I don't know. And maybe it is ignorant, and maybe we are putting people in boxes. But you know what? The older I get, the more I started to realize that's just the way of the damn world. It's just the way of the world. You can do one or two things. You can get with the program, or you can spend the rest of your life upset trying to fight it and change it. Me, I choose to stay dressed and rest, because love don't live here no more, baby. I'm not finna fight it. I'm not finna fight it. I'm not finna fight with y'all. On this one, I'm just getting with the program. That being said, y'all, that's all I got. Ain't got no more. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'm finna get in here and watch Love and Marriage Huntsville, and I'll call y'all back. Back.